Hello, this is a quick slideshow and an appeal on behalf of the local historians who live at Halse, which is a pretty little village that's not too far from Taunton, very close to Milverton in West Somerset. So recently I visited the village and came across their display, and the community are actually accumulating an archive of photographs, documents, and also making some oral histories to obviously preserve for future generations. And it's very fortunate because it was the Jubilee bank holiday. I took the opportunity to make a few photographs, and of course if anyone has any information that they can add to the Halse archive, then please can you contact a lady called Anne Hoole, Hoole. So if you go to the church today, it's very, very picturesque. It's situated at the end of a very long lane, and in the Jubilee weekend they'd actually put up some posters. You can see these very carefully situated in buckets, so there was no long-lasting attachments to any pieces of masonry or gates or anything like that, and it helps tell the story about when the church was first built and how many churches there are, Church of England churches that is, in England. And you can see in the slide there's a photograph there of a view of the church, and there were some local people who were looking at some of the gravestones when we went there, which was quite nice, looking at the history behind them. And then inside the church there's some lovely displays. People have gone to a lot of trouble, as you can see in the photographs. And on the bench you can see there's actually some very nice sketches of some of the more prominent local buildings. Lots of photographs, copy photographs of course, of buildings, smaller buildings, pub, etc. And on the display boards there's some lovely group photographs, and these are priceless because they show groups of local workers, some working at the big house, and others just sort of general sort of community shots. And with a lot of the photographs of course there were some captions, and there were lots of names of people who were shown, so these were quite nice. And you can see there was actually 2 displays of these, and they are looking for more. So if you know anybody who's got any local history items for Halse, they would be very interested in copying them, or if you want to donate them to them, that would be even better. They also had on display this very nice map, and this is to do with the sale of the Halse Manor estate. And you can see there's a nice little colourful typical auctioneer's map that you get with the different lots coloured brightly there that you can see in the yellow, pink and blue. And this is actually for the sale of a farmhouse. That's Blake's farmhouse. So there's actually 2 items there in the photograph. And also on display there were lots of books as well, and articles that relate to the parish. And of course because it was the Jubilee, there we can see there's Her Majesty there. Nice photograph of her just in front of the rood screen, and there was quite a lot of people there on the day, which was quite nice because they'd gone to an awful lot of effort to put these items on display. And this was one of my favourite things that I actually saw, and this was I suppose you could call it a uniform, and this is what one of the local manor staff would have worn in the garden. It's lovely that this has been preserved. This type of apron obviously very, very common, but this one of course there is so much history known about it, which is lovely. And here you can see here's a nice range of photographs. There's Blake's farm, there's a group of workers there, that's a lovely photograph, and I've done a close-up of that one in the next slide. There's one there from 1907 when the chapel was reopened, and there's an internal shot there of a house that's up and a nice wedding group, etc. Yeah, so this is one of my favourites, this Blake's Farm Workers all lined up, all working hard. They're tilling the land. And here's a nice close-up of local people looking at slightly unusual, this particular headstone. It caught my fancy. Not the normal thing you see. It looks like a cross that's made out of a log or something like that, which is very, very unusual. And at the bottom you see the name is slightly ajar, which is quite interesting, and obviously caught the interest of these two local people. And then we walked through the village, went to the local pub, and as we were going through, we met this very industrious gentleman who let us take his photograph, and he was painting the local signpost red, white and blue, obviously because it was the Jubilee. And they looked really, really smart. This one's obviously a work in progress, but there was another one further down the street that had been finished, and they looked very professional, very labour intensive, but he did very much enjoy doing it, so that was excellent. And then finally, here's a little view of the main street with the bunting out, and very nice. It was a very nice day, lovely weather, and a lovely, lovely parish. Thank you.